it on the level. Keep it on the level. I'm climbing up the...
Anyways, we're doing another VOD review. This is for a Platinum 3 support player. Zyra and Karma seems to be the champion pool. Karma did get some buffs, seems to be in a bit of a better spot. Also some Rakan mixed in there. Out of the games that we can take a look at, I kind of want to look at the Karma game. How does this one look? 4-4-9 Karma game. I think it's sometimes better to look at a loss than it is a win. So I think we'll go for this. No, we're not feeling this. What are we thinking at? Not this one. See, I feel like you don't want me to watch this one because it's a bad game, and bad games are usually good to watch, but that's okay. We can take a look at, there's only one other Karma game available, so we'll take a look at the 4-2-14 game. 4-2-14. Now, the build path for Karma should be pretty standard stuff. You should be going CDR boots, Moonstone into Staff of Flowing Water. It's just like the OP meta Enchanter build at the moment. It's pretty much what every Enchanter goes. Karma's no exception. You should be having Spell Thieves. If I remember correctly, I just did play some Karma earlier today, and I looked at the highest win rate build. It is, let's see, Airy, Nimbus Cloak, Transcendence, and Scorch. Secondary is Ultimate Hunter, and it's one other one. Man, what is it? Let me look it up real quick. Almost remembered it off the top of my head. So the other one they should be taking is Taste of Blood, and then 1 CDR, 1 Armor, 1 Adaptive Force. That's the best current build rune page for Karma. Early game action here. Honestly here, nitpicking, of course, but you're Karma. You're really, really strong. You're insane early game. As soon as you make eye contact with this man, you just monster Q him. That really is it. I do see you like pinging in the chat, like W not learned yet, and maybe you hadn't leveled up an ability because you were thinking about invading. You should always start Q on Karma. There's no reason to do anything else really. So that's that monster Q right there right away. Proactive early game, I like it. Other than that, hopefully hanging right around here. Okay, this is kind of a weird invade. You guys are all scattered and going in random places. So if they're stacked, things can go really poorly for you. Don't know what this guy is doing. Monster Q, Monster Q. Oh. Okay, he DC'd or something. So let's critique this. Again, never start W on Karma. There's no reason to. Just always start Q. Even when you invade, there's going to be no reason to. Also, this is a dead fish right here. So no need to ignite. No
for
need.
Contributing to my low education.
Hey, Cult M, thank you for the $5 donation. I really appreciate that. Happy to help out, man. I really, really appreciate that. You guys have been absolutely killing it with the donos and the subs today. I really, really appreciate it, guys. Alright, let's get back to Karma. Put this on Red Vision. So, proactive early game, but an odd one. Be more confident. Just monster Q right away. You should always be starting Q. And don't ignite Nami there. Don't ignite a target that's already guaranteed to be dead. Okay, lane phase here. It's actually a losing lane for Karma, believe it or not. I don't think you guys have great synergy. And they should have decent poke from Varus. Decent poke from Karma. So we'll see how this goes. There is potential to win it, I would say. But as you can see, the poke there is already pretty annoying. Karma's a poke lane, but 1 poke champion against 2 poke champions is not going to go too well. You can also just, like, Q the wave here if you wanted to. Because this wave is, it's stacking up and you're falling further behind in the wave. So you could have just Q'd this here. I wouldn't advise autoing right there because then you draw tower aggro. Or not tower aggro, minion aggro. I would have also liked to see you be more aggro when it comes to pushing for the level 2. And also being more aggro with your Q. You're being really aggro with your auto attacks. But Karma is a good poking support for her Qs. And you're not really throwing out Qs. You use W there, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Because you don't You don't really poke with W. You don't use W at all unless you're looking for all-ins, really. Well, now you're level 2, I see. Oh, that's right. Okay, you didn't start Q, so... Okay, I see why you're mentioning that, because the wave level 1. Okay, I remember now. But yes, let's see. Now that you are level 2, you should have a point in your Q, right? So, hoping to see you poke a little bit more. You're not really meant to poke with either your autos or your W. It's mainly your Q. Your W is only really used for all-ins. So we're struggling a little bit in this lane already. But when it comes to poking with Q, you can definitely use it like that off the minions. You should be autoing this minion to help here with this last hit. That one doesn't need to be last hit. Again, this is not what we want to do here. We only want to all in with your W, or when you only want to W when we're looking to all in. And right here, your Samira is in no position to follow up. This to me, if you're up against better players, is a bad play that will be punished very hard. Because you're walking in 1v2 here, right? So, like, we'll see how this goes. Right, so you should be helping last hit minions here. So same thing here. We're going in when we simply don't need to. I understand that Karma's an aggressive champion, but if you have a losing matchup here, you need to play a little bit safer. And you also just need to be more patient. Just be more patient. Okay, so let's take a look at the build. That's not bad. That's not bad. If you had 700 gold, that would make a lot of sense. Yeah, so we got a boots and a ruby crystal. I would have maybe liked to see you run straight mid here. If you roam, you have a very easy roam timer because you know Nami's still bot, so you can run in here and engage on this Lux. And honestly, this seems like a really free kill to me. And what you would be doing is trading off a kill mid for 4 minions bot. But instead, you just run straight bot. So yeah, you can gather these minions, but I think this is a really good roam timer. Anytime you recall before the enemy support, that's always going to be an opportunity. Since you are bot lane, though, at this point, I might say to myself, you know, that was probably a good roam timer, but I should have roamed there. I didn't. Now at least I could do something bot lane. Push in this wave as hard as you can. I would also say you saw when they recalled, so you don't need this ward down. You simply don't need this ward down. And if you were to ward this bush, you want to put it at the edge here, because that'll give you the maximum amount of vision. This is not a good ward. Putting a ward from this wall here is only something you do when you're desperate for vision. A roam here, I don't actually agree with. I think you had an opportunity to roam and you didn't. And now if you look at where Lux is, there's not a whole lot you could do. I think it's probably best just to stay bot here, shove in another wave, maybe hit this tower a couple times. We also get kind of a fresh start in the lane here, right? So we can go back to pushing, or not pushing, but poking. Again, we don't need to W. We don't need to W unless we're looking for those all-ins. We're kind of wasting that ability a lot. Even if he walks up like that, kind of sidestep. Sidestep, threaten with autos, threaten with Qs. You don't need to W right away. Only W when you want to all-in or you think they're going to all-in. Can we W to stop them from engaging? Yeah. So you stop, you can W if you think they're going to all in, or if you want to all in. Here, there's no need to walk up. We just took, like, what is that, 20% of your HP? For no reason, really, because we're not looking to trade. We're not looking to trade, and the wave's in a bad spot. Overall, it seems like you're playing Karma the way you would be playing Karma in a winning lane, but you're simply in a losing lane. I should probably start maxing Q again. Yes, max order is going to be QEW. QEW. And this is a mantra W here, right? Which we don't need. We gotta start being wiser with when we go in and when we're using our abilities. So this right here, right? We're just farming. We just want this wave. That's all we want. Mantra W is something you use if you want to lock down a target for an extended period of time, for a gank, or for a pick, or if you want some additional healing. We don't want any of that here. Mantra Q, extra damage. Mantra W, extra CC or extra healing. Mantra E, bonus movement speed, bonus shielding. Right? That's what we want. That's not a time to use that. So we're definitely struggling a little bit at the moment. And my 2 pieces of advice to you is just think about when to go in and when you're using your abilities. Because sometimes, you know, you're just not using your abilities or going in at times that makes sense. Now, like I said, Karma is an aggressive support, right? Her positioning leaves Samira 2v1. Shouldn't she try to be parallel instead of behind? Yes, that is kind of a good point. You want to try to be even. We do have a fight breaking out here, though. This actually seems to be working out pretty well. But yes, that is a good point. You do want to try to be parallel. It hasn't been too large of an issue yet, but still definitely something to consider, right? Let's watch this one more time, see if there's anything that you did wrong. I think the timing in which you go in works pretty well here. They're playing blind for some reason. You should be going in now, right? You want to go in now because you want... Ideally, they're going to see Karthus and start backing up, so you need to be able to be on them. They're playing a little blind, though. They're not paying attention. They see Karthus now. You're going in. I still think you probably should have gone in a little sooner, because now you have a max range tether, and if Varus just flashes, he might actually be fine. Instead, he decides to fight. They're not bad there. And a nice cleanup kill after that. But yeah, make sure you're not standing too far behind your ADC. You're kind of like standing too far back when you shouldn't be standing far back, and then you're pushing up and fighting when you shouldn't be fighting. Also here, if you have your shield and your Karthus is ulting, shield him and hope you get an assist. You didn't get one, but... Okay. Now, did we need to flash here is the question. Yeah, we probably need to flash there. Okay, not bad. Good roam. Now, ideally here, Dragon Recall. Perfect. We're not overstaying. Dragon Recall, taking a look at your build. Working towards a Moonstone. Build's looking like it makes some sense. Personally, I'm not a fan of this control word here. I would have rather... So, if I'm playing aggressive, I can use my control word here. If I'm playing passive, I can use my control word here. Because if I'm losing lane and I'm playing passive, I'm not going to be able to control the river, but I might be able to control this. So you roam, you come this direction, you clear vision over here, and then you come. This control word here only helps for preventing dives or getting vision of dives, and you could do that with a regular word. So yeah, see, it prevents a dive, but you could do that with a regular word. Okay, so we see the Shaco. Okay, so let's watch this. Let's see where this goes wrong. I just think this goes wrong because you guys don't have prio. So you guys think that because you're at your tower, you guys have prio, but in reality, the minions here just allow them to walk straight through, right? You guys also don't have your jungler nearby, solutions coming, but this is going to turn into a 3v3. You also walk straight onto a box. And I think you get too distracted by this one here. And then Nami just lands a good combo, Lux roams over, ends up being a 4v3. I just don't think that's a fight you need to go for. You guys are contesting your jungler's camps for him, but he doesn't really care about his camps. If Shaco gets this Gromp, who cares, right? Because your jungler gets Rift Herald and probably invades afterwards. I just don't think it's a play that's needed to go for. And you guys just got womboed by Nami and a nice little, like, juke by Shaco. This is not an awful roam. We're going to help push this. We're going to get some plates. Rift is dropped too early, but that's not really your fault. There's not anything going bot lane, but Varus and their support are missing now, so they could be heading up. I would just get this plate and then leave. You guys don't need to get this whole tower. This seems pretty good. How much gold do you have? 800. You could just recall here, honestly, if you don't see a fight coming. Again, we use our W here for no reason. Right, so there's no fight coming here. And the problem with this is if you constantly are using your W like this, then when there's actually a fight that you need your W, you're not going to have it. Honestly, I think you could just, like, maybe collect this wave or help Lucian collect this wave and then recall. That's a really bad Nami ulti. There's no way that actually works, right? That seemed like such a bad play. How does he not dodge this? So like I was saying for the last coaching session with Maokai, Nami ulti and Maokai ulti are not good engages. He should be able to dodge this pretty easily. I guess, does he have boots? He has tier 2 boots and maybe even his dash available. No, his dash is on cooldown for some reason. This just seems bad. Okay, so you guys get a flash, support gets the kill, not the end of the world. We're spending a lot of time mid lane here, which I don't think is really your job, right? Not really your job. If you miss this wave, it's not a big deal because it's not your wave to get in the first place. Also, because you're so low, you have to hang so far back that you being here, you're not actually collecting XP or gold, really. Probably best to just get a recall off, spend your 1k gold, right? 1k gold, and head back bot lane. They might be able to get some plates mid, but you'd counter that by getting some plates bot. And we overstayed our welcome a little bit mid lane. Okay, so here, Dragon's coming up pretty soon. Ideally setting up Vision here. Their bot lane is actually on a reset. Well, Nami's on a reset. Varus is dead, so good time to take Dragon. You guys have eyes on 3 mid, eyes on Shaco. They're not contesting. They don't have Vision. This is all good. Hopefully, get Dragon head bot. That's my idea here. Get Dragon head bot, start hitting tower. This is not necessarily a good time to roam because Lux only now just showed up, and we wasted a little bit of time there. If you don't see potential for something, probably just avoid the roam altogether. Oh, Nami just showed top, I believe. So, ideally here, we are zoning, we are poking, we are hitting tower. You have decent vision. Shaco's the only thing you're worried about. This is a good time for a Mantra W, by the way. Fights breaking out, you're losing health. Mantra W here. Should you buy control words every time you recall, or is there a time where you shouldn't? If you already have a control word on the map and one in your inventory, you probably don't need another one. But yeah, you guys want to poke, you guys want to hit tower, and you want to avoid Shaco. Shaco pops up though. Mantra W. Like right here, see how low you are? Is this a Mantra Q? So you Mantra Q instead. And if you Mantra W, not only are you going to lock him down for longer, but you're also going to heal, and you probably don't need to flash out here. And if you don't flash out, you probably kill this guy quicker. Instead, he lives. And you die. Karma is... I will tell you this. Karma is a much more difficult champion than people make her out to be. It's because her abilities can be used in a lot of different ways. You know, most Enchantress supports, you use this ability this way, use this ability this way, use this ability this way, right? It's pretty straightforward and simple. Karma's pretty difficult. It's not a guaranteed combo every time. You don't use your abilities the same way every time. But you have to really get a good understanding of when you should be using your abilities. The Mantra W would have been a game changer there. Okay, I think we have about 10 minutes left of this VOD review. So I think we're making pretty good time here. This is a good fight for a Mantra E. 2 people who are being attacked at the same time. Taking a lot of damage. Mantra E is good on them then. Good roam and good vision to be here on the map. Now, one thing I want you to keep in mind, and I'm not necessarily saying this because you've been doing it wrong, but one issue I do see people making on Karma is they never stop using Mantra Q. Mantra Q is really good early game for poking down your enemy, doing a lot of damage. But later in the game, you need to start using Mantra E more. Mantra E is your main ability that you should be focusing on using in team fights, because it hits everybody, shields everybody, gives everybody movement speed. Really good in team fights. Mantra W is, you know, kind of situational. Mantra Q is used for doing damage and poking. So need to get away from using Mantra Q in fights. Again, we haven't seen too many team fights, and I haven't really seen to be a problem yet, but just keep it in mind. Okay? Nice bait around the corner. We're going in now. Not really a whole lot going on. If you want to push this wave, you can always just Q the backline wave. Don't really see a whole lot being done there. And if you are going to use Q and W, just use W first. W first and then Q. That way, if you hit them with the Q, it slows them and your W is more likely to land. If you do it the other way around, as we saw there, you Q, which means you're spending a portion of your time casting your ability instead of running at the enemy. And then you cast W, so you're further away, distance away, and the tether is less likely to connect. Alright, so we're shoving bot. Camille should be zoned here. He's running away, so you know nobody's nearby. Dragon's coming up soon. How much gold do you have? You have 1,200. Push this wave, recall. That's the goal here. Unless Camille trolls. If Camille trolls, then that's also an option. Here you can push again, I guess. This seems like a pretty sloppy game that's getting, you know, really carried away. Ideally there, though, Camille, she was doing a good job at first, kind of just respecting you guys and staying back. And then all of a sudden, she decided to walk up and kind of run it down. But this is fine now, so we push in your wave, hopefully. So next time, stick around with your ADC. Help him push in this wave sooner, because you don't want your ADC to get caught. So push in your waves with your ADC. Then get your recall off, grab Dragon, and recall. We're spending too much time on the map. We're overstaying our welcome a lot. This red buff, you're here for, but you don't need to be here for it, right? They're either going to get it or they're not going to get it. You being here is not going to make a difference. The sooner you recall, the sooner you can cash in your items. You can get more wards. You can get back on the map and get more vision. Team seems to be playing pretty well. You guys are controlling the macro pretty well. You're roaming. I think your roaming around the map is good late game. Need to focus more on it early game and setting up vision. And at this point, you seem to just be getting, you know, kind of carried away. Your team's just getting really far ahead. You don't see a way back into this. Let's see. All of the outers taken out for the most part. You guys could go Dragon. It's still early, though. You guys are far enough ahead. You should be able to just siege. Could use some Mantra W there on the camp just to heal back some damage. I like that. Showing that you are pretty comfortable with the champion. Let's let this play out, and then we'll go back and watch it. Actually, never mind. We won't, because Camille's just running it down. Might not have too much to critique later on in the game here, because it's kind of just a stomp. You guys are up 7k, 3 dragons. It's really not a contest at this point. But I do think that it's still good that we looked at this game in particular, because we pointed out a lot of good stuff in the lane phase. Alright, so getting some vision. This is really good vision, by the way. Ward here, control ward here. Really solid stuff. Control ward here. We're roaming top here. Let's watch this. So a flash Mantra E, I believe, is what happens. Okay. I don't necessarily disagree with it. Not bad. They actually missed their abilities there, so it didn't look like he needed it, but had they landed those abilities, they probably would have needed it. We're back mid lane now. Pretty good macro. We're rotating a lot. She put in the chat, I was hoping it was just Karma and Samira there. Even then, Camille still probably loses that. I mean, we already saw her lose that 1v2 once, you know? Okay, so like I said, not a whole lot going on later on in the game. So we'll kind of skip through this. We'll wait to see if there's anything else important that happens. But we can also take the last few minutes here to kind of wrap up our thoughts. So main things for you to think about moving forward while playing Karma, and just support in general for this piece of advice. But roaming more. We didn't see you roam too much. I saw a couple opportunities that you could have went mid, especially a Lucian versus Lux lane. Lux is pretty mobile. Lucian does a decent amount of damage. You could probably win that, right? You can roam there, make some good plays happen. Even though you're playing Karma, making sure that you're keeping in mind that there are still losing matchups for you, and you have to play back. Staying in line with your ADC, not going up at times that you shouldn't be going up, and not going back at times that you shouldn't be going back. And then the main thing is not using your W so much. Don't use your W so much. Only use it when the enemy team is looking to all in, or you're looking to all in. Mantra E, like you just showed there, that's what you want to be focusing on later in the game. Overall, not a bad performance. I think that you definitely played well. But Karma is one of the higher skill cap enchanters in the game, so there's still quite a bit to work on here. There's a lot of different ways you can use her abilities, and although you showed that you're familiar with some of the ways that you can use them, there's still a couple situations where I pointed out you could have done this here. Mantra W is better here. Mantra Q, Mantra E is better here. Stuff like that. Oh, also one last thing: overstaying your welcome, staying on the map way too often. That might have happened this game just because you guys are so far ahead. And I understand that can happen. You can get carried away because, you're like, we're so strong, what can they possibly do? But even when it was earlier in the game, there's still times where I thought you might have overstayed your welcome. So definitely keep that in mind as well. I think that just about wraps up all of the advice that we pulled out of this game. Pretty solid game. You guys are up over 10k. There's no coming back from this one. We'll fast forward for the last few minutes here. Might be one last team fight that we can check out. Good positioning, hanging out in the back of fights. Don't hang out too far back though. Be confident, know what you can do. And you guys run down here. Seems like you guys end the game. Overall, really solid. If you would want to do another one of these sessions again with me in the future, maybe we can watch one that's not quite as much of a stomp. We had a kind of a limited selection here. But still, really good job overall. Hope this helped out.